group of the Tandoko family, which is which brought in brands such as Lacoste, Zara, Gap, Old Navy, reporting that for 2015 profit actually fell 19% to 811 million pesos. That's despite an uptick in the revenue, 15% there to 17.5 billion pesos. The company there citing very competitive environment in the second half of the year. SSI shares are, let's check how they did this morning, also down nearly 6% to 3 pesos and 91 centavos each. And finally, we also have this just in, Pure Gold reporting a net income for 2015 jumping 11% to 5 billion pesos as revenues jumped 15% to 97 billion. So Christian Lim earlier also telling us that Pure Gold is among their investment darlings. It's the darlings of investors. It's one of those undervalued stocks. Let's take a listen.
Among the retailers, it is the most undervalued as of the moment. I think Pure Gold is going to continue to capture the growth of the earnings of the Filipinos when it comes to expansion in BPOs and the favorable macroeconomic conditions in our country.
Meantime, at the foreign exchange market, the peso is still weaker at 46.26 to the dollar. Volume there, $520 million. Ron, back to you.
Thanks for the update, Michelle.
News overseas now. USF officials conclude that Zika virus causes severe brain abnormalities in babies. U.S. and World Health officials have been citing mounting scientific evidence showing the mosquito-borne virus as a likely cause of the alarming rise in microcephaly in Zika-hit areas in Brazil. It had not been declared as the definitive cause until now. Just last week, the White House and U.S. officials admitted that the Zika virus was more serious than originally thought. The U.S. had redirected $589 million to combat the virus, but according to the National Institutes of Health, more money is needed to address the spread of the disease. U.S. officials say 2 Russian planes flew dangerously close to a U.S.-guided missile destroyer in the Baltic Sea early this week. The warplanes, though, had no visible weaponry. The commander of the missile destroyer, the U.S. says, Donald Cook says, the flights were most likely a simulated attack and calls them unsafe and potentially provocative. Some officials have called it one of the most aggressive acts in recent memory. U.S. officials are reviewing the incident. In Syria, people cast their ballots in controversial parliamentary elections amid continued violence between government forces and rebels. More in this report.
Syrian President Bashar al-Assad cast his ballot in controversial parliamentary elections on Wednesday. The polls are happening amidst continued violence between government forces and rebel fighters near Aleppo. The cessation of hostilities agreement brokered by Russia and the U.S. has been widely violated. Although both the government and large number of rebel groups had pledged to respect the agreement, Syrian officials said the truce had effectively collapsed. The 5-year-long civil war has killed more than 250,000 people, created the world's worst refugee crisis, and allowed for the rise of Islamic State. The escalation between government forces and rebels underlines the already bleak outlook for peace talks set to reconvene today in Geneva.
A suspect in the Paris attacks who was arrested last week was able to elude capture for months in Brussels. This report shows us how Mohamed Abrini managed to hide from authorities in plain sight.
This is the building where Mohamed Abrini spent his last night of freedom. The next day, as he walked along this busy little street, just 20 metres away, police pounced on him. Later that night, they raided the apartment he just slept in. The front door was also dusted for fingerprints. The woman who lives here arrested, but later released without charge. We were invited into the building by the man who filmed the raid, her neighbour, Joseph. We go to a park away from his home, where he feels more comfortable talking to us, and he explains how he saw Abrini in his neighbourhood, though he didn't recognise him.
C'est qu'il en plus il avait changé de physionomie. He shaved his beard, cut his hair real short. Now that I've seen his picture all over the media, it's like a flashback. I saw him last week, a few days before his arrest, but I didn't recognise him. very brief. I saw him when I was going back home. I wish I'd recognised him.
As for the woman Abrini stayed with, she told CNN's French affiliate she didn't know he was a wanted man, but wouldn't speak to us to confirm his story.
The woman told Joseph that she met Abrini at a local cafe here near the fresh food market, and they got talking. She'd just bought a new TV, and he acted as a good Samaritan and offered to help her carry it home.
I think Abrini was trying to hide himself. He found a naive woman. He tried to be friendly to her and tried to pretend he didn't have a place to go.
It illustrates how one of the most wanted fugitives in Europe evaded authorities by hiding in plain sight.
I live alone, but all the other apartments are couples. We are all in shock. The situation is so complicated. We are all collateral damage.
Still, residents here want the world to know their neighbourhood is not a haven for militants. Kelly Morgan, CNN Brussels.
Then the latest in sports from Hardball Boys. But
Well, Ron, it's a historic night for the NBA and its millions of fans as the league sees one legend walk off the court one last time, and a team for the ages breaks the all-time record for best regular season. Now, first, the Staples Center in Los Angeles was rocking as fans, including some of Hollywood's biggest celebrities, and the league made goodbye to Laker great Kobe Bryant. The 37-year-old Kobe was given one final salute before the start of the last regular season game going up against the Utah Jazz. Several NBA greats, including fellow Laker legend Magic Johnson, paid tribute to the Black Mamba, who retired after playing 20 seasons, all with the Lakers, where he won 5 championships. And Kobe didn't disappoint as he scored 15 of the Lakers' 19 points in the first quarter. And the game is still ongoing, and Kobe now has, get this, 56 points, and the Lakers have actually fought back against the Utah Jazz. And the final score with the Golden State Warriors. Oh, we'll talk about that later. But for more of the final game of the Black Mamba, we have on the line our North American Bureau correspondent, Steve Andrews. Steve, a lot of people, some of them in tears, but some of them as well feeling a lot of love, or giving a lot of love for Kobe Bryant.
You know, boys, this must be one of the greatest farewell sports performances. I mean, we are all still on this Manny Pacquiao high, if that is his retirement from last Saturday, but this 50-plus effort by the Black Mamba, like, who would have thought of it would go down like that? I'm guessing maybe it was a big boost before the game, because all day, it is pretty much a holiday here in Los Angeles. It's called Mamba Day. Tens of thousands of people, whether they had a ticket or not to the historic night, all gathered outside of the Staples Center signing goodbye cards. It was basically a fan rally. You could see a sea of purple, yellow, 24s, 8s, and even, yes, the number 33 Marion High School jerseys of Kobe Bryant, as well as All-Star USA. It's like Kobe, for the past 2 decades, Kobe has been Los Angeles basketball. He's the biggest star in this city, and a lot of people really came out to celebrate him. A lot of Filipinos were just out there supporting, cheering Kobe, Kobe, Kobe. And just to see a performance like this, this is one for the ages.
Steve, more than just for people in Los Angeles, explain to us, or give us an overview of how not only Laker fans but fans of the game have come out for this entire season, for the last season of Kobe. He just showed a lot of love for the guy who, according to Magic Johnson,